going to come visit them. I'll name them. So we stop and we see the deer and we look at it, but what do you think if it wasn't just one deer that passed or two or 100 or 1,000, but 2,000 walked across, what would that be like? It would be a sight to see, and it would be scary, and it would be, you would tell everybody, look what I've seen. I've seen this man take these demons out of Legion, and he put them in these pigs, and they run off, and they committed suicide. And who all would you tell? What all would you want to see, come in contact with? So we're going to talk about that some today. But like I said earlier, as Jesus healed that man, Legion wanted to be the 13th disciple right then. As soon as it got done, Legion wanted to get on the boat and go with Jesus back across the water, but Jesus said no. He said, go back to where you're from, go back to your family, and let me show them what I've done for you. And that's important. We've talked many times that our family is our first mission field. And once we get them on and on the team of Jesus, then we go out. But if you go out to others and you forget about what's at home, how is that? What does that make you? It's not the right thing to do. So the first point today, demons are fallen angels who carry out Satan's desires. And many times we see on TV or whoever Star Wars fans, you know that there's dark side and the good side. Never seen Star Wars, so I can't tell you what it's like. But we've seen those on TV where you have a little angel on this shoulder and a little devil on this shoulder. And you're picking between good and evil. And I think that's where they mess it up, because the devil is not God's mini-me in a bad form. The devil is simply a fallen angel. He doesn't have the same power as the Lord does. He tried to, he was an important angel. If there was levels of angels, he was closer to, he wasn't down at the bottom. But Lucifer's biggest problem was Lucifer. He wanted everybody to know about him. I heard somebody say one time his favorite show was I Love Lucifer. He was worried about only himself, and he wanted to be the same as Jesus, had the same power, be able to do the same thing. But when he tried to be like God kicked him out. God kicked him out of heaven. And he's going to give him free reign here shortly, I believe, but he's not the same as God. In Revelation 12:9 it says this, and the great dragon was thrown down, that ancient serpent who was called the devil, and Satan the deceiver of the whole world. He was thrown down to the earth, and his angels were thrown down with him. If you've been to the Bible study we've been doing on Thursday nights, which is now on Sunday nights, we've been talking about this as Satan gets free reign for a little while. But we know that, and Satan knows where he's going. He knows he's never going to win. He's going to take as many people with him as he can, and that's what's scary. That's why he's so attractive. If it was everything that Satan stood for, everybody knew that it wasn't fun to do, or if it wasn't enjoyable, then who would he take with him? He wouldn't take anybody with him. Nobody would want to be a part of it. But Satan makes things that we know is wrong look enjoyable, look appealing. And it only lasts for a little while. But thought about this, if God knows how bad Satan is, why don't he just do away with him? Why don't he just say, I'm done with you, we're gonna make all this good, we're gonna just forget about you. I really believe it's to test our faith, to see if our faith is strong enough to be able to handle those situations. We know that God could take and destroy them. We've all heard that thing, why do good bad things happen to people? Why do good people die early? Why is this and that? But I think it's to test our faith. How strong is our faith? Because we know that as we prepare for the end times, our faith is going to be tested. It's going to be tested. It's going to get worse. And we're lucky to live where we live, because we don't face the same things that so many others face in the world, but it's all of Satan's army that's behind them that's causing it. Matthew 5:25, verse 41, it says, copied the wrong thing. Sorry about that. It says this here. Then he will say to those on the left side, depart from me, you cursed, into the eternal fire, prepared for the devil and his angels. So the devil knows where he's going. He knows what the end story is. So like we just said, you always see that person that gets in trouble at work. How many times has that person just accepted his punishment or her punishment and walked on? Or how many times have you seen that person go, well, such and such did this, such and such did that? When you call your kids down, how many times have they just say, I did it, nothing else? Y'all, that's what y'all always said. Y'all never said, well, Lily did this, or Morgan did that, or Madeline did this. Jesus knows. Satan knows what the end is, but there's joy and misery, or I think that's how that saying goes. He's going to bring you down with you. He wants you to come and enjoy him, and he wants to just mess the things up that we've set in place. The second point of demon possession, as you hear this, was demon-possessed man. In the original New Testament, demon-possessed was not a language, it was not a word there. That's something that Bible translators came up with, but they were talking about demonic control. And you hear these people, can a Christian be demon-possessed? And is it just have to be an unsaved person? Well, just don't, that's not important. What's important is how much of your life is under demonic control. Are you seeking Christ in all that you do, or does the devil have a hold of you and you just can't seem to let him go? You take one step forward, and nothing happens, and you go 2 or 3 back. You think your life's in order, and this unexpected thing happens, or a bill comes up, or everything that you plan on going right, this one thing messes it up. And we think about that many times. But we're just going to talk about a few signs that this demon legion had And we're going to talk about it and see what it says. And there's more to this. Every person struggling has their own demon they fight, but the demon-possessed man, one of the first signs were sexual perversion. And in Luke 8, verses 27, and this is Luke's account of the story of the demon-possessed man, it said, when Jesus had sat down on land, there met him a man from the city who had demons. For a long time he had worn no clothes, and he had not lived in a house, but he lived among the tombs. So in Luke's account, when Jesus stepped off, this man ran to him naked. He didn't have any clothes on. And we know now that we don't have to talk about it a whole lot, but the whole world is a big sexual perversion. They try to sell stuff. What do they use? They say it's okay to sleep with whoever you want to if it makes you feel good, or we can go on and on. I'm not talking about all that, but we know what it says. Whatever the Bible says, it's not up for debate. You can't make the Bible fit what you think is right. You can try to do it, but it doesn't make it right. We know that anything you see on TV now, they don't try to sell it because the product's good. They take a bad product and they put someone there everybody has clothes on, and they try to sell it to you. It's the world that we're in that it's become so sexually perverse that they try to make it right. It's a pet peeve. The second point is an obsession with death, and this is what this man had. The man lived in the tombs. He lived in a graveyard, for say. He didn't live in a house. But when he come out running straight to Jesus. And if you go to different parts of the world, or even in the United States, down in Louisiana, they bury people above ground because it's below sea level. I am personally not spending any nights in a cemetery, especially when people are buried above ground. I'm not going to do it. You're not going to catch me there. But this guy enjoyed it. That's where he liked to be. That's where he liked to feel at home. But it's his obsession with death. And I believe if you have an obsession with death, or you play with the Ouija boards, or you go see a psychic, or anything like that, I believe it's just a gateway for stuff to come in and attack you. I think it's very, it states it very clear in the Bible about what happens after death. The next breath are with heaven, our next breath is in hell with Satan. And I think if you play with demonic things, you invite demonic things into your life, and then you have to be ready to battle that. The third point that Legion had was he had the violent behavior. It's the chains away from him, and he ripped the shackles from his feet. And you look today at all the violent things that happen. You just look what happens to Gastonia. I remember when I didn't live here, I think I heard more about Gastonia than I did. And something always happens. You think about the guy that walked into the movie theater several years ago in Colorado, and he just started shooting the movie theater up. In Colorado High School, when I was in high school, all the violence that happens over and over and over again. And people can say what they want, where it comes from or whatnot, but it comes from Satan. Satan comes and says he comes to kill and destroy. He's not coming to make you feel good about yourself. But what makes the person think it's okay to room or walk into a church and just start taking lives? Who does that? It's not Jesus. It's a shame we have to have locks on our doors now or have security around the church when we have church. A church is a safe place. I remember growing up when I didn't hear about things like this. Church was a place you went to when you had something enjoyable or celebrating to do with others, or if you had problems, you went to church, or church was a gathering place. It wasn't a country club, but it was a place to come together and do things for community. It tells us what to do. And any of that had nothing to do with violence. It was good to happen. The fourth point that this man did was the self-abuse. And I thought about this and I read about this, and I know this is it's a subject that's tough that many people go through today, but self-abuse is a thing. You hear people burn themselves. This man cut himself with stones, and we don't know what causes it, or we think we know how to fix it. But the reason those pigs killed themselves was they had no moral restraint. Satan filled them, and they had no restraint, they run off the cliff. And you see with Judas, who was probably the most famous suicide in the Bible, it says there that Satan had fully come inside of Judas and killed himself. But the guy that Legion who was cutting himself, he still had a little bit of moral restraint left. He had a little bit of stuff saying, I know what I'm doing is wrong, but I'm not ready to go all the way yet. And you think about that. I've told many people that I look back at my time in the military and how many soldiers struggle with suicide. I've had 21 people that I personally know that's committed suicide after we've got out of the military in 2009. And you think about what's causing that. Why is it so prevalent? And why do people not find other ways to deal with it? I'm not against counselors. I'm not against medicine. I believe that you give these people the ability to do those things to help you, and you can't fix it yourself. I learned that. I came back and I wasn't the same person. My family knew that. My wife knew that. I had to go talk to someone. I'm a big guy. I like to think I'm a little tough. But it's hard for a man to admit what's bothering him and to open up and say, this is what I need help with. So then they turn to other things to help that pain go away. Don't be too proud to say that you need help, because it's a serious thing. And God can fix it. But God also gives people the ability to help you fix it as well. It's not an X on your report card. It's changed me. But as you do this, and you try to figure ways how to get the demonic control out of your life. And again, we're talking about this man here. The first thing that you need to do is you need to run to Jesus and to cry out in desperation, just like that man did when he seen Jesus coming. He didn't walk to Jesus, it said he ran to Jesus. And he didn't, I'm sure when he talked to Jesus, he wasn't whispering, Jesus, what are you going to do with me? He probably yelled, he was excited. He seen the answer to his problem, and he wanted him to go fix it and grab it and take hold of it. That's what you got to do. When you know what your problems are, this altar's here for a reason. It's here to help you. It's a hard step to take. And it don't have to be at this altar. This altar is just a semblance of where we need to come. You can do it. You can do it in your car, your home. But as a family and as a church, we're here to share those times. Everybody's going to have those times where they just help. They need you there. They need advice. They need to know that you have their back just like the Lord has their back. It's important. You got to be able to willing to identify your demons, and that's tough because everybody has different demons in their life. And it's not usually just what he said that what his name was. They said it was Legion, which Legion means 6,000 in the Roman army. So I'm sure that people have more than one thing in their life they're battling with. And if you're battling with it, it's not something that's foods one of my demons. There's another one. We do things. We have a little program now where we're trying to encourage people to help them eat better and exercise and walk and not keep them trying anything. But it's demons happen. There's other talk about sex. We talk about TV or pornography or anything that takes you from Christ. And I'm not saying that Christ says you can't do anything other than pray, worship, and church. Not what he wants you to do. But wherever you set your priorities, wherever you spend most of your time, if it's taking time away from Christ, it's a demon that you're battling. And it's tough. How many people have you heard, I don't have to go to church. I can go to church fishing on Sunday morning. Or I'm going to church and I play golf on Sunday because I like to be around nature and it makes me feel at peace with or the other. I told you before, in my home church, we would go around and I remember I taught the oldest class and this lady was 89 and her son come in and gave me a bottle of peanut butter. He said, get it to my church. I said, why? She wasn't there Sunday before. I said, why? He said, because that's an excuse. She got peanut butter so she can't come to church. And I said, I'm not doing that. I'm not that brave. But I always have a man at church telling me, why were you not here? Why were you not there? Why didn't you do it for the church? It's because you didn't have any peanut butter. That's not a good excuse as the other. Why do you not come to church today? Well, it's not cold enough or it's too hot or it's raining. Or filling in what you want to. But there's an excuse that you have to be able to identify and get help to fix them. The last thing the guy did was he ran home and people seen the difference that God had made in him. And I think it's important when I said that he wanted to go with Jesus on that boat. He wanted to be the 13th disciple and walk those 3 years with Christ, but Jesus sent him home. How important is your home life? How important is it that us as parents set the right examples for our children? And I didn't always, still don't sometimes. But I know that when I realized when Madeline went to school and she was 18 and she was going off away from home, that's when it kind of kicked in and it's too late. It's too late to try to teach them what's right when they're grown. It's too late to try to tell them how to set their priorities up when they're grown. That has to start from day one. And I remember, and I think I've told before that Lily asked me one day, can Mom come pick me up for church? I was like, man, why is my mom coming to pick my daughter up for church? And I'm sitting at home and I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. But my kids know what the right thing to do is. And I would say, well, if my kids know church is important, that's what matters. But it's not what matters. Your kids need to see you do it. They need to see you have a giving heart. They need to see you put others before yourself. And if they see that, then it's something for them to be able to model their life after. I told my dad at the wedding rehearsal dinner that Friday night, I'm not a mushy person to my kids. They know that. I'm not mean. I'm a jokester like that life. But we were all sitting at a table eating, and I calmed down the way. I said, man, I'm with my kids. I never thought that I would be okay with. I never thought I'd want to move back home. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is I miss the friendship that you can have with your children once they get to a certain age. And that's something I would ever say. I miss y'all. And it's important to make sure that you don't wait until it's too late. Just like this guy, Legion, he didn't walk, he ran. And he cried out to Jesus. And then he realized what his demons were. And then he went back to his family to show them what change Christ can make in your life. And it said people said they were scared. They seen him. If that kid man run through the door right now, I'm going that back door. It's not something that I'm ready to see. So they were scared. They didn't tell you how bad this guy was. They were scared when he looked normal. He kind of sat down and he had clothes on and he walked through the door and he told his wife, and I can only imagine what he said to his kids, that she may turn around and say to you, Daddy's home. He's got fixed, he's home. God has changed him. He come in and God can change you, but you just have to be willing to let him change you. And that's hard. It's hard to look inside yourself daily, get your own cross, whatever you're bearing, and to put it down and say, God, just come in and fix whatever needs to be fixed. Because we have that human desire to try to fix things ourselves, and it won't work. So Bruce is going to come up and say, hey, meditation. I just want you to think about this as we're closing this out is that it's the things that Legion did to fix himself when he knew that he had issues. When he seen Jesus, he ran to Jesus and he cried out to Jesus and he said, what are you going to do with me? What are you here for? And Jesus said the demons sent him to the pigs. And the Legion knew that these are the demons that will fight it. Whatever it may be. There's no demon that's any less important or more important. But then when he fixed them, the most important thing that guy did was to go tell others. He went to tell others, look what Jesus did for me. And all I had to do is come out and ask him to come into my life, fix me. I'm ready to be filled. Right before we close, your testimony of how God took those demons out of your life is the best story that you can ever tell to anyone. We all have those demons. We all have those things that somebody else is battling right now. Someone here in the church is battling right now with something that one of us has been healed from. And you being there for them is the same thing that Christ did for this man. He was there for me. He helped me. God tells us to be the hands and feet of Jesus. And as we gave supplies to the people in need, also give yourself to someone else here who is dealing with something that you don't know what it is right now. So as we finish these first two verses, if you haven't made that decision or you need to do life to come, is here, and it's just wait for you to ask.
Amazing love that welcomes me, kindness and mercy, that bought with blood wholeheartedly, my soul undeserving. God, you're so good. God, you're so good. God, you're so good. You're so good to me. Behold the cross, which you raised, hour by hour. We made our race, the sinner's slave, but we'll never bow. God, you're so good. God, you're so good. God, you're so good. You're so good to me.
Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for what you've given us and how you blessed us. Thank you for the opportunity you've given us to come. Lord, thank you for the instructions you gave us to how to free ourselves from the need to all face. Lord, just let us roll back the foot of the cross and look to you and just put all our faith and trust in you. Lord, thank you again for this day. Again, be with us this upcoming week. Just let everything we do glorify you and we love you. In your name we pray, amen. If for anybody, we have a meeting, you can be there. We got a business meeting after church. It'll probably take 10 or 15 minutes. If you don't be a part of it, more than welcome to leave. I know some of you guys have to go back to Flint Groves, so feel free to leave or feel free to stay, and we'll start just as soon as